folks. This is Rex Bear with Leak Project. I'd like to thank you for joining us this edition. We are going to be discussing and looking at the latest photos of what could be Planet X and some of the moons of the binary star system that we could possibly be getting close to. Now, I am still agnostic to many of these photos, but they are very compelling to some, and others might just say, hey, that looks like lens flares to me, and if that's the way you want to go with it, right on. So this information is for you guys to decipher and come up with your own conclusions. But Bob, I really appreciate you joining us tonight here at the Leak Project. How the heck's it going?
Doing all right now. I'm finally recuperating from my bumped head, feeling a lot better now. One thing I want to really say before anything else, all of the photographs that people have been sending to me, I am not claiming they are mine. They are their photographs.
Right.
I'm not.
They gave you permission to show them, though, correct?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. And this one that we're looking at right now is from Germany, and it looks like this one was taken on just actually today?
Yes.
Talk to us about it.
That one's from my friend, I think it's from my friend Whale, W-A-E-L. And he said that was from Germany now. So looking at that one photograph, you can see our sun right in the center, but you can see something large right underneath it. That's one of Nibiru's 8 planets which are in our solar system right now.
Do you notice how this one actually has that kind of hexagon shape similar to the ones that we were looking at a while ago that had multiple hexagon lines within hexagons within hexagons? And
I'm not sure what you mean by hexagons.
the shape itself, if you look at the outline of it, within the circle, it looks like there is a hexagon shape almost. You see those straight lines? If you look at it,
I see tiny lines inside it, yes. That's probably because people are trying to enlarge the photographs as far as they can, and that does make the digital either webcam or from a handheld camera look bad. And I try to tell my friends, please do not try to enlarge them as much as they can.
now we'll go to the next one, though, and it looks like this was taken today as well. Is this from your friend in Germany also? Because this one, it doesn't look... This one looks a lot more like a second sun versus that one that we were just looking at a moment ago where it is more of a transparent with the...
Now, some of these photographs I know were sent in to you. I'm not...
No, these are all yours, Bob. All these right here were sent in to you, my friend.
Then, okay. I know the one from Germany was from Whale. The next 2 photographs, that one and the one right above it, those were from a friend of mine from the Middle East. I can't pronounce his name. I'm not even going to try to insult him by doing so. But those were from the Middle East area.
Okay. So this one's pretty cool, though. I mean, I definitely... If that's not some type of camera glitch, then I would say that's a really cool picture.
Right. They've been seeing this over in Egypt, the Middle East area, for quite some time, well into 2015. But no one's paying attention to them over there. Although some of the Egyptians are now starting to remember the ancient Egyptian scribe Ipuwer and his account of the destroyer. And that's getting louder and louder over in the Egypt area. And this was another photograph clearly showing our sun right there in the center, and then this huge white thing in the skies. That's not our moon.
That looks a lot more solid than some of the other anomalies that I've seen. You know, as far as just the picture itself, I would say that this doesn't seem transparent. You can see it's definitely some pretty cool concentrated swamp gas.
Right. Now the next picture back, where it shows the 8 objects in our sky, that was from Sharon, and she just posted that one today. 672016A, 8 objects in the sky. So that backs up what I've been saying, that the northern observatories are seeing 8 of Nibiru's planets or moons in our skies. The next image back, Rex. On your left-hand side, next one up, right there.
That looks like a bunch of clay pigeons.
It does, but that's what she didn't say where she got it from. That was from her posting today. And it clearly shows 8 objects in the sky. Now we're seeing 8 objects in the sky. The northern observatories, the last couple of interviews going back several weeks, I was very, very clearly stating that our northern observatories were seeing 8 planets or moons in our skies, and hardly anyone was believing it. And this is from, I think this is from Sharon or from her friend, clearly showing 8 objects in the sky right there. Now everyone on the ground is now seeing 8 different objects, different colors. So I know we're seeing 8 different things near our sun or in the skies now.
Now, this one right here, I'll try and zoom in on this a little bit. You think,
Yes.
is this what you're seeing right here?
Yes.
Okay.
That's from one of the observatories. I think that one's from Australia. The next one back, it clearly says which observatory says it right there. Okay. Oh, that's from Hong Kong. Sorry. So that's in the skies over Hong Kong. And that's that white moonish looking thing that we've seen before. Although we're not seeing that huge crater in it, but that's the only white moon-like thing we've seen before. Many photographs of that. So if you go back to the next one down, right there. That's what happens when people try to enlarge onto the images to make them finer, and they look faint. Where if you back to the last image, it clearly shows it as a nice solid object being seen by the observatory. That's not our moon. Next one, that one there's from Australia. That's also from today. Where they are seeing the same white moon-like thing in their skies. That's a picture from an observatory, not from the ground. So we're seeing things in our skies that no human has seen for 3,600 years. And that's why this is it's complicating this image with all the people who are listening to your show, all the people who are seeing this stuff on Facebook. They're saying, where did this thing come from? We only have 8 planets. The planet Nibiru was recently downgraded to a dwarf planet. Where did these things come from? And that's because these are planets or moons which are orbiting the planet Nibiru, which is orbiting between Jupiter and Mars. They have huge orbits out from the planet. And that's what we're seeing in our skies. Unfortunately, let me try to reframe this here really clearly. The planet Nibiru orbits clockwise through our solar system. The planet Earth is orbiting counterclockwise. So we are orbiting right towards them right now. That's why these things are getting larger and larger in our skies. And this was possibly why the governments around the planet built all the deep underground military bases, the DUMBs.
Now,
we're seeing stuff
this
like
one
this.
from?
And just up there to the left, right above that same image, right there. That's that striped planet that was first seen in the skies over Antarctica on April 10th, 2015. Sharon caught that in our skies on April 29th. So I know that one very clearly. You can see the stripes on it, has the same pattern. So here's our sun down below, and there's something right below it, and then there's that striped planet right there up in that upper left corner. So we're seeing all these things in our skies. That's not fake. It's not Photoshop. This one's kind of weird because we're seeing the reddish image down below to the left, but then we're seeing a weird striped type thing just to the left of our sun. Now, we did see something like that in our skies during 215. And I'm not quite sure if it's the same thing, but I think it is. That's our sun just to the right of us. We're seeing 2 things in our skies right there. The red one, the complete red one, we only see one of that. And that's what we call Womrwood, the destroyer, the red Kachina. Now that thing right there in the center, I've never sent you photographs of that because I wasn't sure if it was real or not. That thing you just had your circle around it. That one was caught, but I never was quite sure about it being real. but it's been shown several times since, and that's basically it right there. I'll send you the photographs later to let you compare them. Now that one there is where, here's our sun down here at the bottom. Then we see one object just above it, then another above it right there. Now the upper one might be a lens flare.
I would definitely say that is 100% lens flare. You can tell by the wings on the side of it. And then below this, you can tell that this is lens flared as well. So you've got two lens flares from possibly two objects. I would, I mean, I would say that would make more sense than being more than two anomalies.
Now, the only way a person can prove it to be not lens flare is if when they're taking photographs, they angle their camera around, and then if either one or both of those two things shift in different positions, then they are lens flares. I've seen lens flares with a video where a camera is on video mode and they're spinning it around left or right, and the anomalous objects are spinning around it, clearly making it lens flare. But when people send in photographs like that and they don't show it being turned left or right, I cannot say they're lens flares without insulting them, because they took the photographs, I did not. Now this picture right here is really clear. You've got our sun down here at the bottom, huge round sun-like object, and then right above it you have a smaller object which is probably farther away, and then you have the big white thing right above it. We've been getting all kinds of weird photographs over the last couple of weeks. I've been trying to share them with you. That's why you have them on your picture right here. Now this one object over here to the left, 529216L, is an inverted photograph. Now we're still on this one here with the three objects in it right there. The next one up right there, that's an inverted, where it's been turned backwards, where everything white becomes black, because the one right above it clearly showed two things. I don't know about that. I saw you pointing towards that bluish green thing up there at the top. But right there, that photograph, when it's inverted, it clearly shows two massive objects right next to each other. That one is, and that one picture from Sharon, she deliberately inverted it to clearly shows, yes, it was not lens flare. There were two massive objects next to each other. The next one down, the black objects were very clear. And that's where people who know how to do this with their camera and their imaging stuff on their computers can do this. So the first image might possibly be lens flare, but when they have it inverted, like the next one down, on your left side, up above, right there, it clearly shows there was two massive objects in the sky. Now the greenish looking thing right above it and the greenish thing down here to the left at about 9 o'clock position, right there. I don't know anything about those, but I know Sharon inverted this image to clearly show the big thing right in the center and the thing right about 3 o'clock, almost 4 o'clock position. Right there, yes. Because a lot of people.
What I'm seeing, Bob, if I can jump in here real quick, what I'm seeing is that petal effect from these. A lot of times these pictures now, because of all the chemtrails and all this stuff that's in the atmosphere, you're going to see this petal effect around the sun. So I can see that petal effect, and that's probably what the blue and red colors are, is just the reflection from the chemtrails and what's in the atmosphere. Now, I do find it intriguing, though, that the sun itself, if it's just one sun or two here, I mean, if it's just one sun, that is extremely powerful. And I was thinking about this the other day, Bob. I was talking to a friend of mine about it. Remember when the sun was actually yellow, and if you glanced at it for a half second, it didn't burn your face off? Now it's so bright and white and extreme, you can't even consider to look at it, even with polarized sunglasses on for half a second, unless you want your retinas burnt out.
Exactly. And I'm not an expert on this, but I have seen the sun putting out bolts from it. We've actually seen two photographs over the last several months where the sun is interacting. It's brighter now, as you're stating. It's interacting with these 8 extra planets or moons which are going through our solar system. So it's interacting with them. It's interacting itself by putting out brighter light. Uh, some of the last over the last several interviews we've done, we've seen where it's putting out sparks, where it looks like sparks, which we're actually seeing here on the ground. So yes, I mean our sun is interacting with all of this stuff, and possibly with Nemesis, the brown dwarf star itself.
Now, let me ask you this also. Do you think that because of the amount of heat and just radiation, there's probably going to be a lot more radiation coming through our atmosphere as well because of another sun source, correct? Or a star?
I'm no expert again, so I will not try to answer that. I don't know. Hopefully not.
I first want to say thank you, Teresa, for this photo. We're going to have her on the show in a couple of weeks, and she's got a ton of pictures that she takes out there in Arizona. She certainly is a sky watcher, so she's on Facebook.
Oh, she does a good job too.
So
Jeez.
thanks, Teresa.
Now, here in this one photograph, you're clearly seeing the sun, but then just right above it, you see a little tiny white thing about, between 1 o'clock, right above that major sun, right there in the center. Right there. Now, what is that? I don't know. Now, just up above, at about the 11 o'clock position, there is a planet that I have photographs that has that kind of, it's not the striped planet which we saw earlier. This is another one. That's why I know we have 8 different objects, because each one has different colors coming off it. So that's seeing it possibly through the haze, possibly through the chemtrails. I don't think that is a lens reflection up there. That's an actual planet being seen through our atmosphere. See, over the months going back to 2015, I've seen these 8 objects partially hidden, bright, nice and bright. We're clearly seeing them. And then in between, where it's like they're being seen through some type of a cloaking device type thing. But that one there is clearly one of the 8 I have photographs of. And that's why I sent you this one photograph. That one Sharon took on 5/5/16. I don't really know what she's seeing in this right here, but that was posted today, and the next image above it showing the 8 objects in our skies, they were both together. Right there. They were both together on her post today on Facebook. So I think she was trying to show us the one part and then this other part being clearly seen within that first one.
Interesting.
Otherwise, I saw no reason for her actually to put them both together like that.
Right. And then, yeah, and this one was kind of strange. You showed me this one. This, to me, it looks too good to be true. This one looks photoshopped. This looks like the 4 horsemen riding to revolution.
Now, that was imaged a little bit ago. Several of my friends on Facebook, they're looking in the skies for images. And that one caught everyone as if their hand was across their mouth saying, oh my God. Because that looks to me very clearly as the four horsemen of the apocalypse. Now the apocalypse has a second meaning. It means the unveiling. But a lot of people don't know that. I just had to send that to you because that was just clearly in the skies. You see, we've been seeing, and Sharon has caught many photographs like this lately, the 4 horsemen type thing, where we're seeing faces, we're seeing horses, we're seeing all kinds of weird things in the skies. Now, if we were the ancient humans, we would look up in the skies and we would see that and we would go running with terror.
Thank goodness we're not ancient humans anymore, huh?
Yeah.
Man. Oh my gosh, look at that cloud. Go duck for cover. Get into the bunkers, man.
It's almost directly like they're doing it deliberately to see whether we are panicking when we see this stuff up in our skies. And hopefully by now we've evolved further where we can actually think about what we're seeing, and we're not jumping in off the cliff into the ocean. We're not running through the desert screaming, "Oh God, I saw what you put in the sky for me." It's bad enough we're seeing pictures like this with a red thing in the sky, a weird thing, and then our sun. Now, I will send you that other weird thing that was caught in the skies. It was back in 215 today, and then I'll have you compare the two, looking at them to see if that's a real thing or not.
Okay, Bob, this is from my friend Roy. He sent this to me from Facebook, so he sent me these images and some video footage. He also sent a couple pictures of what looked like some just strange dragons in the skies from the clouds and stuff like that, but I just don't put much into the cloud anomalies. I think they're really cool to look at, but I don't think it's anything more than that personally. Could there be? Possibly. However, when he sent me these pictures, I said, wow, this is definitely something I want to show on the Leak Project. So I want to thank you, Roy, for sending these out to us. And folks, take a look at this. You can certainly see the chemtrail below the sun and all the haze. You've got that chemtrail atmosphere. And then you can see what looks like a second sun right there. Now, whether that's a really cool clay pigeon or a Chinese lantern or just some type of camera anomaly because of the amount of heat and brightness, or not heat, but because of the amount of brightness from the sun, I don't know. But it certainly looks cool there. And then you can see beneath that, you've got what looks like the flare, or not the flare, the reflection from that. And then you've got another sun reflection below. So you've got two reflections from what could possibly be two objects. And he doesn't just have this one picture. So let me show you a couple more photographs of the same area, just a little bit different time, like a minute later, etc. And then he's got video footage of it. So what he's going to do in this video is be able to show you what is lens flare and what isn't. So take a look at these pictures, folks. There's another one. So you got the still, you got the two glares there, the two reflections, I should say. And then there's another reflection, it looks like, from that anomaly to the right. And then you've got your sun reflection down here, chemtrail haze going on. Right. You can see there, this is when you can see that anomaly behind the clouds. This is where I think it's cool, because I was talking to Gerald earlier today. Gerald is an absolute genius. He has he's written about the Anunnaki and the genealogy of the gods. I mean, the guy used to build lasers and do stuff with top companies and Department of Defense contractors and stuff. So guy's brilliant. And he said if you can see light coming from behind the clouds, like this one right here, he said there's definitely something to that, most likely. So take a look at this, you guys. You can see this is just a little bit of a different time of day there when that chemtrail cloud starts to dissipate more. And you can see the sun right there, and then this really cool reflection to the right of it. So I'm going to go down here. Here's another one. Look at this one's even better. Look at that, you guys.
Yes.
Behind the clouds. That's a good shot right there. And once again, hey, it could just be my imagination. I don't know. It could be lens flare, but it looks pretty darn good to me. So let's take a look at the next one down here. Actually, that's it. So you can see, let's go through these one more time here. You can see
and that's why they're doing the chemtrails for.
To block it.
Over some of the cities around the planet, they're actually doing black chemtrails at nighttime, because at nighttime we're getting the best photographs of these other things in our skies with the moon. And this is also why during the white chemtrails during the daytime, it clouds the skies up, where it makes it hard to actually see what you're trying to show.
Okay. Well, here is the video of that same anomaly. So I'd like you guys to watch this, because you're going to be able to see as he moves it around a little bit. You can clearly see the lens flare. Some people might think that little blue dot's the blue Kachina. It's not. It's just lens flare. And then you can see you've got some other stuff in the background. So this is all just, probably from the I think he's shooting this through a window. But take a look at how this stays stationary, and then you'll see the other stuff move around.
Right.
There it goes. See that, guys? So you can see the lens flare there. That's lens flare. That's not the blue Kachina. It's lens flare. But that guy stays in the exact same position. I'm going to play this a couple times because it's only 11 seconds. So let's watch it again, and I'll be silent.
And this is what's good about having the video and then also photographs where we can see when it swings around, so you can see what's lens flare and what's not.
Now, guys, I am getting probably 100 or more pictures a day from our listeners, oftentimes more, and I really appreciate it. If you could help me out by telling us exactly what time, where you took the image, if you could actually see the anomaly with your eyes personally or if it was just from the camera. And then that way, if we can have as many reference points as possible, what kind of camera was used. And then another thing you can do is try and block that sun with a paper or something else to see if that anomaly still shows up to the right as you're taking the picture. Get video footage if you can of the same anomaly, and then you can move it around to see what bounces around. Because you guys, this is the kind of stuff it's going to take for those out there that are skeptical to take us serious. Because if we show a million pictures that look good, but we don't have any data to back that up except for say, oh yeah, I was taking around noon up in the hills out there in Mississippi. I mean, it's not going to do us a whole lot of good. So help us out as much as you can, please, and give us that information if possible before sending us in the footage, please. Thank you. Now, what's your thought on this video, though? Let me play this again. Look at that.
You know, it's pretty clear video. It is showing the lens flare like you saw there at the bottom, but the other objects are remaining exactly where they're at.
Yeah. So anyway, that's some pretty good stuff. And, you know, what's going on in your neck of the woods out there in California, Bob?
Well, I've never been able to see any of this stuff in the skies over Pacifica. I would have to go up on the top of the ridges up here and I have to look out over the bay to see what's coming up with the sunrise. And it's the same time I'm getting up in the morning, so I have to get my wife up, so I can't do it. But I wish to God, or whatever God, that I could see this stuff in my own skies. I could take a photograph of this stuff with my own camera, because none of these photographs are from my own camera. Everyone else that has a clear view, they're taking photographs, they're doing videos like this. Like, oh God, if I was down there in Mesa, Arizona with Teresa, and I could see that thing showing up in her skies down there, or with Sharon back in Illinois when she's got some fantastic photographs. You know, I'm just a messenger, so I'm doing my best with you, showing everyone else what everyone else is catching. And thank God you're here for us to show you all these photographs and to be on your video.
Well, I certainly feel privileged to speak to you, Bob, and everybody else that I've had on the show. I mean, it's just an amazing opportunity to get this information and hear people talk about what their truth is, because you can take something from everybody, whether you agree with them 100% or not. I don't think there's anybody in the world that I agree with 100% of the time, and that's a good thing. You know, I mean, we all think for ourselves and make our own judgments. So when I read comments sometimes, and people say, man, you had me up until this point. Well, yeah, I get you. I totally understand. However, just because everybody isn't right always, does that mean that that other information they gave you wasn't accurate? Well, that's for you to decide. You know, I mean, once again, I am just going to give you guys the information. I don't know if this is real or not. This could be some giant wag the dog hoax where the government's trying to steer our attention away from the elections or something else that's going on. I don't know. But I'll tell you, with all the information that I've got over the past 6 months doing these shows, Bob, I'm a lot more inclined to believe there is a Planet X than not. So this is great. I appreciate you coming on the show with us, Bob. I'd also like to recommend our listeners go to starshipsaroundthesun.com. There's hundreds of photographs, SOHO imagery of these just incredible anomalies that seem to come in and out of the sun and around the sun, look like ginormous spaceships. And you just
they're still coming.
Yeah.
They're still coming in to today's date. People are still seeing them all the way here in 216, where all the images I have on my webpage, they're back in 2011, 2012, 2013. So we're still seeing these things on SOHO, and everyone's saying, no, this isn't real, it isn't this, it isn't that, but it's clearly being shown.
Man, right on, Bob. Thanks a lot for coming on. Can't wait to talk to you again. Folks, make sure to check out our website, leakproject.com. We've got over 200 full-feature podcasts there. Also, our storefront will be open any day now, where you can get some really cool T-shirts, hats, mugs, pens, all sorts of other cool things that got the Leak Project insignia on it. And hey, guys, also, if you have some cool ideas on what you would like to see on a shirt or a hat, maybe a neat saying or something, let us know about it. Maybe we could put it on there for you and give you some, give you a T-shirt also. And we're almost up to 30,000 subscribers, Bob. I mean, we were getting really close. And once we hit that 30,000 mark, the person that signs up as a subscriber, doesn't cost you anything, it's totally free, but the 30,000th subscriber will get a free T-shirt with the Leak Project logo on it. And thanks for everything, you guys. Really appreciate all that have contributed with video footage, pictures. If we missed your name, send me an email. I'll make sure to add it on the description. And we really appreciate everything you guys do. Make sure to be safe and be the change you want to see. This is Rex Bear. Good night. This is Rex Bear with Leak Project. I'd like to thank you for joining us this edition. We are going to be discussing and looking at the latest photos of what could be Planet X and some of the moons of the binary star system that we could possibly be getting close to. Now, I am still agnostic to many of these photos, but they are very compelling to some, and others might just say, hey, that looks like lens flares to me, and if that's the way you want to go with it, right on. So this information is for you guys to decipher and come up with your own conclusions. But Bob, I really appreciate you joining us tonight here at the Leak Project. How the heck's it going?
Doing all right now. I'm finally recuperating from my bumped head, feeling a lot better now. One thing I want to really say before anything else, all of the photographs that people have been sending to me, I am not claiming they are mine. They are their photographs.
Right.
I'm not.
They gave you permission to show them, though, correct?
Yes.
Cool. Okay. And this one that we're looking at right now is from Germany, and it looks like this one was taken on just actually today?
Yes.
Talk to us about it.
That one's from my friend, I think it's from my friend Whale, W-A-E-L. And he said that was from Germany now. So looking at that one photograph, you can see our sun right in the center, but you can see something large right underneath it. That's one of Nibiru's 8 planets which are in our solar system right now.
Do you notice how this one actually has that kind of hexagon shape similar to the ones that we were looking at a while ago that had multiple hexagon lines within hexagons within hexagons? And
I'm not sure what you mean by hexagons.
the shape itself, if you look at the outline of it, within the circle, it looks like there is a hexagon shape almost. You see those straight lines? If you look at it,
I see tiny lines inside it, yes. That's probably because people are trying to enlarge the photographs as far as they can, and that does make the digital, either webcam or from a handheld camera, look bad. And I try to tell my friends, please do not try to enlarge them as much as they can.
now we'll go to the next one, though, and it looks like this was taken today as well. Is this from your friend in Germany also? Because this one, it doesn't look... This one looks a lot more like a second sun versus that one that we were just looking at a moment ago where it is more of a transparent with the...
Now, some of these photographs I know were sent in to you. I'm not
No,
quite
these are all yours, Bob. All these right
Okay.
here were sent in to you, my friend.
Then, okay. I know the one from Germany was from Whale. The next 2 photographs, that one and the one right above it, those were from a friend of mine from the Middle East. I can't pronounce his name. I'm not even going to try to insult him by doing so. But those were from the Middle East area.
Okay. So this one's pretty cool, though. I mean, I definitely... If that's not some type of camera glitch, then I would say that's a really cool picture.
Right. They've been seeing this over in Egypt, the Middle East area, for quite some time, well into 2015, but no one's paying attention to them over there. Although some of the Egyptians are now starting to remember the ancient Egyptian scribe Ipuwer and his account of the destroyer, and it's getting louder and louder over in the Egypt area. And this was another photograph clearly showing our sun right there in the center, and then this huge white thing in the skies. That's not our moon.
That looks a lot more solid than some of
Yes.
the other anomalies that I've seen. You know, as far as just the picture itself, I would say that this doesn't seem transparent. You can see it's definitely some pretty cool concentrated swamp gas.
Right. Now the next picture back, where it shows the 8 objects in our sky, that was from Sharon, and she just posted that one today. 672016A, 8 objects in sky. So that backs up what I've been saying.